うん、俺はもう準備万端だ。
選別開始。これで全てが終了するわ。これが昇格ネットワーク。
Oh hey, my mic wasn't on. Hello.
分かった。
I should explain the injury thing. It's not clickbait. Obviously, I'm not like in the hospital or anything, but I got a minor injury yesterday because when I was coming back, I tripped over something, and I took the brunt of the impact. Most of it was on my arms, a little bit on my head. So my body's quite a bit sore. I'm on ibuprofen, and I've been icing my arms, but it's a little something that happened. Could have been far worse. But I'm getting older, so stuff like that can a little bit harder to recover from when you're younger. So I'm kind of dealing with that right now. Tomorrow's the Kamen Rider movie, so I've got some Kamen Rider themed content going up at midnight. I already made some. I'll probably make another one before I, Actually, I'll probably make another one after I see the movie. I'll probably play through the movie tie-in game, and I'll talk about the movie. But that's happening tomorrow, but today's been kind of a little bit rough. And I don't really get injured that often. It's kind of overdue for it, to be honest. Last time I got injured was, what, like... So at the beginning of the pandemic, I dislocated my knee. Which is something that just happens sometimes, whether you're old or young. That's like the last major injury I had, so... could be worse for sure. Can't really complain. But yeah, I might not be too super active the next few days. Probably have to keep the use of my hands down a little bit. But I gotta go on and do my homework, so I figured I'd turn the stream on. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, I've been hit by a car before. I've dislocated my knee twice. I've been assaulted before, so compared to these things, this is like nothing. I got hit by a car, like about 10 years ago. I got assaulted about 8 years ago, so yeah. I've been through far worse. But I'm a lot older than I was then, so I gotta make sure I take care of myself.
これはナナミの最強の切り札だよ。
道具をどう使ってどこへ逃げるつもり？観客の皆様がじっと見てるの今だ。クライマックス。もう少し痛そうに表現されてるね。
これがナナミの最強の切り札だよ。最悪は全て私と共に虚空に返します。ここで燃やし尽くします。希望が怪人から生まれ変わります。
もう少し
Alright, reset
ま
this.
消えていくね。
I might buy Street Fighter. I'm thinking about buying that game. High chance of buying that game. Considering it.
一気にいくよ。
It's not too expensive.
ナナミが全部
See if I feel like it.
私に元気一体。これがナナミの最強の切り札だよ。最悪は全てもうできるようになりました。
道具をどこに入れたいな。今だ。クライマックス。
I had a good time at the convention. I know people are going to ask about that because of how anxious I was. It's just travel anxiety. I had a good time. A lot of my friends don't go anymore, so I think the thing I took from it the most is that I should find another convention that's got more stuff I'm interested in, because Anime is not the best gaming con.
観客の皆様が
It's not the worst, but it's not the best either. There's other stuff I can go to that'd be more relevant to my interest. Maybe make new friends and it's a change of scenery. So I've been going to that con for like 16 years. I think it'd be good to go to something else. It doesn't help that, like, a lot of my friends, it's not like they've forgotten about me or anything, it's just that everything else happens that same week too. There's Anime Central, which one of them goes to, and then there's Combo Breaker, so like, I don't get to see any of my friends from the arcade anymore. Because they would much rather go to that, which makes sense. Anime is, you know, not really a place you go for competitive fighting games. I mean, there's people there that play, but it can't compare to Combo Breaker, which is like, it's fighting games only. I'm starting to realize that that's not going to change. For some reason, every con that's relevant to like my circle of friends' interests all happens within like a week of each other. So it's like, yeah, it might be time for me to go to one of those other cons instead and skip anime. It didn't used to be like that, but I'd say the past like 4 or 5 years it's been like that. Everything is that same week. So if you have a lot of gamer friends, chances are they're not going to be all at one con. You're not going to be able to see everybody in one con anymore. This year was kind of a wake-up call, and it's no one's fault. It's just people who schedule the cons like to just have all the nerdy events like the same week. Like, I noticed a lot of people were not there, and but that, I didn't even have to talk to them to realize that they're at Combo Breaker. They're at Combo Breaker, so not gonna be here. It's just I don't have the money to go to Combo Breaker, and I'm not like heavily into fighting games as much as I used to be, so kind of hard to justify going.
真の叫びをもっと聞かせて今だクライマックス
I'm a lot closer to Evo, and I can barely justify going to that.
ここで燃やし尽くします
Yeah, this past weekend is like, it's like the nerd weekend.
肝心から生まれ変わ
It's like the pretty much the beginning of con season. Depending on what your friends are into and where they live, you might not be able to see that many of them. It's kind of what I learned this year. It's been like that for a while, but it was really bad this year. It's like a lot of people were not there.
これがナナミの最強の切り札だよ最悪はすべて私と共に国民に返します
道具をどう使うのか見せてもらうどこへ逃げるつもり今だ
Anime is a friend and nerd and party con. So the only reason to go there is if, you know, you're into the frat boy stuff, you know, partying with weebs, drinking, and a disproportionate amount of sex, and the weird shit that goes on at cons. I mean, if that's all you go there for, it's fine. But
超すごいでしょ
it just doesn't really have a lot of like attractions to actually go. So if your friends bail, it starts to get a lot less worth going. And you know, I'm a straight edge. I don't do any of that stuff. So it's kind of devalued Fanime a lot for me. If I did do all that crazy partying stuff, I'm sure it would be more viable to go, but kind of like this year, I'm like, yeah, I need to find something else to go to. Even if it costs more. I don't think I would bother going to Combo Breaker. That's way too expensive. Combo Breaker was around when I was still in my 20s. I probably would be more inclined to go, but... my god. Being into fighting games here in Bakersfield is not the easiest thing, because we're incapable of having a consistent venue that sticks around. That's kind of the problem. It's less of an issue now that more of the games actually have netcode that's not garbage, but the social aspect is gone. That's kind of why I've been playing more stuff like this. I don't need a hangout to do it. I just play with viewers or something more relaxed like that. Yeah, we don't really have a good hangout. We don't really have a good venue right now. We haven't for about 4 or 5 months now. About 5 months. Yeah, Fanime Weekend is like just an all-encompassing nerd weekend, NerdCon weekend. It's like, well, unless like Combo Breaker reschedules massively, like a whole extra month or something, which I don't think they'll do because then they're directly competing with Evo. People are gonna choose Evo over that. I don't think they're gonna change their scheduling, so might be time for me to go to another con. A lot of people like Combo Breaker better than Evo anyway. I think it's cheaper. And it's not in Vegas, so it's automatically an upgrade. Everything is expensive in Vegas for no reason, because they try to They try to nickel and dime everybody, even straight edges like me. I don't drink or smoke or party or anything or gamble. Like, it's still like, it's like, how much money? How much money to get like a value meal at like Burger King? It's like 50-60% more. Like, even just eating there, you're not safe. It doesn't matter how much of a straight edge you are. Evo is just ridiculously expensive, so... I think it's easier for people to soften the blow. A lot of people like that it's in Vegas because they can go party and drink and gamble. You know, they... Statistically, everybody but the couple dozen people are gonna lose, right? People justify going there by doing all the partying and stuff, but even if you don't do that, just like everything on the strip, even just like Wendy's and Burger King is like crazy expensive. I don't really like... I stopped liking Evo when they started being on the strip. And I've kind of like not been into fighting games as much as I used to. But yeah, Combo Breaker is more about the actual games. Evo is pretty carried by the location it's in, for better or for worse. It's in a location where you can kind of suck up the fact that, you know, maybe you're not going to get far. Or statistically, you're not going to get far, but there's like other stuff to do. A lot of the other fighting game major tournaments and stuff, like, they're kind of not in the best places, so... It's like, yeah, you lost, just kind of, I guess, chill with your friends and watch the stream or party or something. It's like all there is to do. I just find, I find the Evo venue just boring and just ridiculously expensive. I don't really get a lot of benefit from being there. Feels like if you don't drink and party, the best thing about Evo is, best thing about Evo is just watching the stream and the announcements. It's probably going to be a pretty big year for that, at least, because the new games coming out. We're finally transitioning to new gen. Oh great, Windows Defender fucking deleted the game again. Thanks, Windows Defender. Did it? Okay, it didn't. Good. I was like, pretty sure I told it to not do that. Alright, false alarm. It actually really bothers me that Street Fighter 6 is on PS4. There's two reasons. The first is the World Tour mode barely runs, and like, the console's already 10 years old, so I think that was a bad idea. You could tell that their competitors thought it hard about that. And it's like, yeah, we can make more money having it last gen. It's not like fighting games need as much processing power as other kinds of games do, but we don't want to support, you know, 15-year-old hardware, you know, 3 or 4 years down the line from now when the game is still going to be in its lifespan. Especially Tekken. Tekken got a lot of post-launch support. It got years of it. I think it's actually pretty stupid that Street Fighter 6 is on PS4. I would not be surprised if they pull support for it, like, in a couple years. I can honestly see it happening. It wouldn't be the first time. They did that with PSO, Phantasy Star Universe. They did that with Final Fantasy 11. Both of those games are on PS2, and then they put out 360 versions of those. And then they cut the cord on the old ones. Like, yeah, we can't support this old hardware anymore. It was already kind of pushing the limits of what was possible, and then, the game just gets older and older. I think that was a bad move on their part. I'm sure the sales figures are going to be nice, but I think the logistics of updating an old-ass console like that is really going to bite them in the ass really soon. Like Tekken 8, we haven't seen gameplay of the new Mortal Kombat yet, but Tekken 8 doesn't really look that much different. It looks like maybe they could get it to run. They probably would have to take some concessions, but I think that was a decision because Tekken games last a lot longer than Mortal Kombat NRS games do. NRS games have like a 2-year lifespan. So, I think PS4 the new Mortal Kombat could have been doable, but I guess they just made the decision to not do it because they weren't entirely sure. The fighting games usually take a really long time to upgrade, but I feel like this generation has been going on for so long that they should not have made it current gen. Should have made it current gen only. But that's my take. I mean, if I'm gonna buy Street Fighter 6, I sure as hell will not buy it on PS4. That's a hard no. I think Capcom just wants their fiscal year to look really good. That's why they're putting the game out in June. But I think they're going to have a lot of challenges later on when they want to expand on the game, and they still have to design it around 15-year-old hardware. Because it's not like the hardware in the PS4 was cutting edge when it came out. It wasn't. We already had solid state drives by then. The PS4 does not even have that. So, they have to design it around a stock PS4 with no enhancements, which is exactly what I have. I have the most basic PS4. I have, nothing modded about it at all. But that's like the base normal specs, so it has to be designed around that. Besides, if you play the game on PC, you can play it on Steam Deck. It actually works quite well on the Steam Deck. It works surprisingly well. I don't think the World Tour mode runs much better than PS4. But considering you're playing it portable, and they're all PC games, you can just play World Tour mode at home. If you want the actual fighting game component of the game works fine. You barely even have to tweak any settings. It'll probably get Steam Deck verified really quickly, if it doesn't, immediately at launch. I don't really care if the World Tour is 30 FPS on Steam Deck. The actual game is playable. The part where you're actually fighting another person. I think that's more than enough. It's not that much of a big ask to just, play that mode at home. I already do that on my Steam Deck. I play, certain modes at home. Never get over how the Bugsters just look like they have turkeys for heads. Really weird.
ゲイツ今は協力して敵を倒そうもたついてるとお前もここで倒す敵を固定して1点を狙えば覚悟しろ避けないでよね これだけの回転ならお前を射抜く俺が選んだ道だ。
Watch in like 3 years from now, they're gonna say, sorry, we're not gonna support the PS4 version of Street Fighter 6 anymore. You need to upgrade. You know that they're gonna do that. Wouldn't be the first time that happened. Final Fantasy 14 as well. That was on PS3, and they had to kill it off. That's why a lot of the Kickstarters for video games right now are not, they're not promising a Switch version. They're like, oh, we'll put it on a Nintendo platform if there's a new one. But we like don't want to promise a jank version of the game.
俺が選んだ道だ。いや、俺は生まれた時から決めていた気がする。ライダーポイントを使って
ライダーポイント。
育てるんだ。行くぞー。
Yeah, this is the second arena fighter they did. But with this one, they just said, we're not going to bother doing online play. We're gonna have actual single-player content. Which I think is good, because no one plays this competitively in the first place. I think it's the lesser of two evils.
お前もここで倒す。うりゃ。叩き割る。かかったな。これだけの回転。これだけの回転ならば。
The first one had horrendously bad netcode. It's so awful. This is a pretty fun game too. It wasn't like the best ever. feel like if you wanted to play a game like this, it'd be better to play My Hero One's Justice. The netcode was horrendous. They never fixed it. Get them it all. I fell on the pavement. I fell on the pavement and I got hurt on my head and both arms. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I've been hurt way worse than that. I've been assaulted before. I've been hit by a car. This is nothing. It's just I might not be that active on the channel for the next few days. That's all. Yeah, when I got assaulted, I was way worse because I couldn't walk properly for a while. That guy, he just knocked me on the ground like really hard. I think the impact was a lot harder than when I fell yesterday, so I couldn't really walk that far without intense pain. I'm not having that problem now. And also my body is tired from all the walking at the convention, so that's worsening things too. But yeah, I've been through worse, for sure. That's why I, like, don't go out at night anymore, because that guy assaulted me. Really hard for me to go out at night, unless I absolutely have to. As soon as it gets dark, I won't go out. Like, I just won't leave. I won't leave the area I'm in. I have a lot of trauma, like, because of being hit by the car, too. If the lights are on a car, like the gas is on, the engine is on, and it's next to me, I get really anxious. I start freezing up. Let's see, how do I feel like playing next? I got an idea. Don't worry about the screen, it'll fix itself shortly. Switch emulation freezes up my capture source. It looks like the stream is broken. So it's not broken. It's not broken. Hold on. Oh, I'm sure the fall was definitely made a lot worse by the fact that my body and muscles were so tired from like 5 straight days of non-stop walking. I'm sure that doesn't help either. But I feel a lot better today than I did yesterday. Yesterday I could barely use my right hand. Today I can at least game. Yesterday I couldn't game at all. I had to take a day off and not upload or stream or anything. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to be doing hardcore gaming today. Probably just like maybe an hour or so. No intense gaming today. If I keep it the way it is now, then I should be good by like tomorrow or Thursday. And tomorrow I'm going to see the Kamen Rider movie anyway, so I'll be gone. I'll probably be leaving here around 5 or so. Get there early. And tomorrow I will put up a Kamen Rider video. I'll talk about the movie. Nice, it's just like not gonna load or what? Sometimes it takes a couple boots. Alright, there we go.
まだ信じらんねえ。夢とかってオチじゃねえよなこれ。俺
What do I think about FF16? Simple. It looks cool, but I can't play it. Kind of like, I'm not very interested in it because I can't play it. I don't know what to say other than that. It's probably not what you're expecting. I don't have access to the game, so they don't want to give us lowly PC gamers an opportunity to play the game, so it looks like something I would enjoy, but I have no access to it. Kind of like, yeah. Well, from a content standpoint, everybody's gonna suck that game dry. No one's gonna watch me play that game, so I would only be playing it for my own personal enjoyment. I've heard conflicting reports on when it's going to be available for PC. Some people are saying 6 months, some people are saying a year. So, I don't think anybody really knows. It's exclusive for at least 6 months, but that doesn't really mean anything. That basically just means that they can sell it on something else after 6 months. It's far more likely to be like Xbox and then PC.
みんな踏ん張ってよ。あ？呼んでいないお方まで来ちゃった。いいね。線を沿ってきやがって。これ以上。
And then it has to be a port that actually works too. That's the other thing. A lot of the ports have been really bad lately, so kind of like not super excited for it. If they put out a port and I see that a like relatively mid-high spec computer of like mine can run it, then I'll check it out. It's hard to really just expect a PC game to just work at launch, because this year has been like one of the worst years to be a PC gamer. So I'm going into it expecting it to not work, because that's the more realistic and mature thing to do. Expect it to be a shit port that won't work. I have a feeling it's going to take more than 8 gigs of VRAM, so that's going to be a problem for a lot of people for sure, because Nvidia is really fucking with people with the new graphics cards that are coming out. They still have 8 gigs of VRAM. A lot of the games right now, the ports are so poorly optimized that they require like 12 or 16 gigs of VRAM. And the new ones, like the 4060 Ti got announced, and it only has like 8 gigs of VRAM, which means it's basically useless. If you're gonna play AAA stuff, it's useless. If you're gonna play stuff like this, the price on that thing is not that bad. But most people don't have like $600 to put into a graphics card like every few months. If you buy something like that, you expect it to last. And that's it's kind of the problem with what Nvidia is doing. They're saying all this other stuff, and it's like, yeah, it is an upgrade in a way, but you're still going to be really starving for VRAM. I totally expect FF16 to take more than 8 gigs of VRAM, which is going to be a really big problem for a lot of people, myself included. I'd love to be proven wrong, but I mean, they never fixed the FF7 remake port. They never fixed that. The only way I could get that game running was to upgrade my computer. So, I don't have a lot of faith. They're claiming the game doesn't need a day one patch. I'm like, alright, well, the PC port better fucking work. None of this waiting 2 months for it to maybe work. I heard the Gollum game, that shitty Lord of the Rings game that came out last week, it requires like 12 gigs of VRAM on 1080p low. Do you know how insane that is? Like even the Jedi Survivor port runs better than that. That's just crazy. 12 gigs of VRAM for that game, which by the way looks like it doesn't look much better than what I'm playing right now, with like 5% of the things happening on screen. You know? Like, this game doesn't have the best graphics, but when you consider how much is going on and how responsive it is, it's like, you can accept it, right? But the Gollum game is about playing a gremlin that sneaks around and doesn't really fight. It's not an action game. How the hell does that take 12 gigs of VRAM? That means even this computer cannot run that game. It's kind of another reason why being a PC gamer right now is kind of rough, because Nvidia is really fucking with people. They're gonna put out new cards, but they still only have 8 gigs of VRAM, which gives you like barely any buffer for crappy PC ports. Now good ones, like Hi-Fi Rush, which was a game I played a couple months ago, it's more than fine. You just might need to turn down some settings. You might not be able to do max settings, but a lot of this stuff is not running like it should.
いざとなれば12号線にて愛を覚悟
That's crazy. The Gollum game takes 12 gigs of VRAM on 1080p low. You don't need realistic graphics for everything, but there's no way a game like that should be taking 12 gigs of VRAM. Especially when this game, with how much crap is on the screen at once, and how responsive the controls are, the character models still look better than that game, which is pretty embarrassing, because this game came out like 9 years ago. Like, this is not a new game, it's a very old game. By video game years, it's very old. This game is dust in the wind in terms of how fast people say games are old now.
なるほど賭け事も指導に違いないのでござろうか今こそ吠えよ虎の魂見事はこの雪村
It's kind of like right now, if you're gonna upgrade your graphics card, you have to save up a lot of money, or sell something, or get the money some other way, because it has to be, I think, like at least a 3080 or a 3090 to be like an actual future-proof upgrade. The 4060 Ti is catfishing people, pretty much. Because the number makes you think that you're getting a good upgrade, but it's still only 8 gigs of VRAM, so a lot of these new ports are going to barely run, at least if you have like 12 gigs of VRAM. Yeah, more of a chance of the game you paid for $70 for to actually fucking work. That's kind of where I'm at right now, is because I would like to upgrade, but just to future-proof my computer even more. But there aren't really very many good upgrade paths right now. The 3090, maybe when the 3090 or 3080 Ti goes down, you'll probably manage to get one of those.
ってことはだつまり俺が負けねえ限り石田君も絶対負けねえってことだサーコン入ります
聞いてください、トシイエステ。あなたと私はすでに離れた小袖に過ぎない。
そうはいかん。前田へ来い。お前を終わりに残してしまったこと償わせてくれ。けじめつけるってんなら止めはしねえけどさ。その話まとまりそうもない感じだろ。お二人さん。
Game just crashed. Nice. Nice. Just crash. I don't know why the Deadlock QT made it crash. No, I cannot. Sorry. Well, you have to find it yourself. It's not hard to find. Go look for it. I don't think you can actually upload it anyway. I think you have to patch it. Yeah, you can't upload the game pre-patched because it involves it involves how the emulator works. Meaning the way that it installs data and stuff is different. It's not like pirating a PC game where you know, some of those torrents for like old games you can't get anymore. They have like all the patches and DLC. It doesn't work like that. Because what it's doing is it's patching the files of the game to put them in English. And that has to be done by basically tricking the emulator into thinking that it has the right files when it actually doesn't. You're actually replacing the files. So they've simplified it as much as they can, but at this point it's kind of going to be you're going to have to put in a little elbow grease. It only takes like 10 minutes. There's a guide that you can find. I gotta work on getting Basara to run on the Steam Deck. It runs pretty poorly. I need to optimize it a little bit more. Maybe next kitty sitting shift I'll work on that. I don't know how much can be done though. Certain games just don't run well on the deck. dog. Looks a little creepy. Hey, later. What's this? I don't want that. I don't like the bow. Let's see if I can beat this boss. He's got 2 forms. Makes it way harder. It's way harder than the previous boss. Previous boss is pretty easy once you figure out the pattern. You gotta fight 2 bosses in one. You're going great. Boss is just not fun. Much projectiles. Wish that did not have a second form. Second form is too much. Second form is even less fun to fight because it's just a big machine. You can't parry or interact with it in fun ways. I don't know why there needs to be a second form. One form is enough. Why are there 2 forms? One is more than enough. I like the first 2 bosses. I can't stand that 3rd boss. It's making this game not fun. Can't you just make more humanoid bosses that don't just shoot all the time? Those are like the most least fun bosses to fight in melee games. No, this guy's just gonna run away and shoot constantly and not do anything else. And then they give you another form that just does the exact same thing. Like, it's just like the polar opposite of fun. I guess I just need to get better at that boss. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go. My acid reflux is really messing with me, so I can't even really talk clearly right now. I think I'm gonna go try to get some meds for it, and then maybe I'll come back later. I'll see you guys.